We hope you are enjoying our channel. We know we've got a lot of amazing scary stories, so if you haven't already, then do make sure to subscribe and stay updated. So this week we bring you another spine-chilling tale, one that will leave you questioning the very nature of reality. This is the story of a horrifying house that seems to exist just outside of our perception. In the heart of Morocco, nestled between the ancient alleys of Fez, stood a house shrouded in mystery and dread. Locals whispered tales of its cursed walls, of souls that entered but never returned. They called it the house that swallowed souls. Part 1. The arrival. A young historian from Rabi had always been fascinated by Moroccan folklore. Tales of genies and magic had always seemed like mere stories to him, figments of people's imagination. But when he heard about the abandoned house in Fez, he couldn't resist investigating. Despite warnings from locals, he decided to visit the decaying structure. As Youssef approached, he noticed two things. First, the house seemed to blend into the surroundings, as if it were trying to hide itself from prying eyes. And second, he could hear a faint sound coming from within, a low hum that seemed to vibrate in his bones. The walls of the house were adorned with ancient Amazigh symbols and faded talismans, which only added to its eerie charm. When Youssef knocked on the door, a shiver ran down his spine because no one answered. No one lived there anymore. Youssef tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Then he noticed a small crack at the top, and through it, he saw a dusty, sun-bleached room inside. Youssef peered through the crack, searching for the source of the humming noise. It seemed to be coming from behind a large wardrobe. Curiosity gnawed at him, propelling him to find out what secrets the wardrobe held. After a bit, he finally managed to push the door open, its hinges screaming in protest. As he stepped over the threshold, the air grew heavy, as if the house itself were watching him. The scent of decay and dust assaulted his nostrils, forcing him to fan the air to regain his composure. He realized that the source of the sound was a hole that had been gnawed through the back of the wardrobe, revealing a narrow passageway behind it. It looked as if someone or something had been desperately trying to escape. Drawn by an unseen force, Youssef felt compelled to crawl through the opening. As he did, he couldn't shake off the feeling that he was being watched. The walls around him seemed to close in, suffocating him with their musty, stale air. Part 2. The Whispers. Youssef found himself in a subterranean labyrinth where time seemed to stand still. Jagged rocks protruded from the floor, tearing at his clothes. The air hung heavy with the stench of decay and damp earth. He realized he wasn't alone. Faint whispers echoed around him, voices speaking in hushed tones, murmuring secrets from beyond the grave. These whispers sent shivers down his spine, each syllable clawing at his sanity. The darkness pressed against him, cold and suffocating, threatening to consume him whole. Yet he pressed on, driven by an insatiable curiosity. Suddenly, the tunnel opened up into a vast chamber. The sight before him was both mesmerizing and terrifying. Before him lay a subterranean lake, its surface as black and featureless as a sheet of obsidian. The whispers reached a crescendo here, forming words that chilled him to the bone. They spoke of ancient rituals, of sacrifices made to appease the darkness, and of a terrible curse that bound the house and all who dared enter it. Terror threatened to overwhelm Youssef, but he pushed it down, determined to uncover the truth. He took a deep breath, attempting to steady himself, and continued his exploration. Part 3. The Chamber of Secrets. Deeper in the bowels of the house, Youssef discovered a hidden chamber adorned with chilling paintings. These grotesque images depicted gaunt figures with elongated limbs and hollow eyes locked in a macabre dance with unseen entities. Each stroke of the brush seemed to writhe and twist like a living thing, weaving tales of unimaginable horrors. He examined them closely, trying to decipher their meaning, and realized they were depicting the very jinn that haunted the house, malevolent spirits preying on the souls of the unwary. His gaze fell upon a pentagram drawn on the floor, its points aimed at the paintings. The whispers intensified, urging him to step into the pentagram, promising him forbidden knowledge. But Youssef, remembering the tales of the jinn, resisted the temptation. Instead, he searched for an exit, finding a secret passage concealed behind one of the paintings. The walls here were lined with shelves, each holding a jar containing a preserved human organ. Some were accompanied by handwritten notes detailing the sins of the person from whom they were taken. At the end of the shelf stood a single unlabeled jar filled with a cloudy liquid. An inexplicable force compelled Youssef to pick it up. As his fingers brushed against the glass, the whispers reached a fever pitch, hissing his name, begging him to release them. Paralyzed by terror, Youssef stumbled backward, knocking over the jars. The organ spilled onto the floor, writhing and pulsating as if alive. The smell of decay filled the chamber, choking him. Youssef fled, racing through the labyrinthine passages, desperate to escape the house that seemed determined to trap his soul. Part 4. The genies. Suddenly, the whispers stopped. Silence descended, heavy and oppressive, amplifying the pounding of his heart. Trapped in the suffocating darkness, Youssef realized the full horror of his situation. He was trapped in a subterranean labyrinth guarded by malevolent spirits that fed on human despair. He remembered the jar he had touched, the one filled with a cloudy liquid. The whispers had gone silent, as if the very jinns were holding their breath, And in that moment, he understood. He had inadvertently unleashed the most powerful of the jinns, a creature of immense power and insatiable hunger. Yosef stumbled upon a room filled with ancient scrolls, their brittle pages whispering tales of forbidden lore. Among them, he found a mention of a ritual to seal the gateway to the jinn realm, to banish these creatures back to the abyss from which they came. He began to chant the words of power, drawing strength from the ancient script. The air crackled with energy as the words formed a protective barrier around him. But even as he fought to hold the gateway shut, he could feel the presence behind him. The jinn, its essence seeping through the cracks, reaching out with spectral fingers to grasp his soul. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the presence vanished. The house was silent again, as if nothing had happened. Part 5. The ritual outside. The first rays of dawn were painting the sky with hues of rose and gold, signaling the start of a new day. Yusuf emerged from the house, his face pale, his clothes torn and soiled. He stumbled through the bustling marketplace, unnoticed and unseeing, his mind still reeling from the horrors he had witnessed. With shaking hands, he retrieved the scattered pages from the canal, their ancient script glowing faintly in the morning light. The words swam before his eyes, but he struggled to focus, his heart pounding in his chest. He had barely escaped the clutches of the jinns, but their presence lingered around him like a shroud. He sought refuge in his own home, locking the doors and windows to keep the darkness at bay. 4 days, he remained indoors, haunted by the whispers that seemed to slither under his skin. Sleep eluded him, replaced by nightmares of twisted figures with burning eyes reaching for him from the depths of a black abyss. Finally, he emerged from his self-imposed exile, seeking solace in the bustling streets of his city. But wherever he went, he felt the weight of unseen eyes upon him. The familiar sights and sounds of his life no longer brought comfort. Even the warmth of the sun on his skin seemed tainted by the lurking menace of the jinn. Driven to the edge of endurance, Yusuf performed the final part of the ritual. He gathered rare herbs and lit a bonfire, its flames reaching for the heavens. Over the fire, he placed the ancient scrolls, allowing the flames to consume them one by one. With each scroll that burned, the oppressive presence around him seemed to lessen, replaced by a sense of cleansing renewal. As the last page turned to ash, a profound calm settled over him. The jinns were banished, their holdover unbroken. But the experience had left an indelible mark on his soul. He could never again find peace in the ordinary, forever haunted by the whispers on the wind. And so the house stood a silent sentinel, hiding its secrets deep within its decaying walls. All around the city, people whispered stories of the haunted house, of the young historian who had dared to venture inside, and of the terrifying creatures that lurked in its depths. Some said that Yusuf had emerged from the house forever changed, his eyes holding the secrets of the abyss. Others claimed that the house had claimed him, his disappearance a grim reminder of the price of forbidden knowledge. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: the house on the edge of town will forever remain a place of mystery and terror, a testament to the thin veil that separates our world from the realm of darkness. And perhaps it's best that way, for some doors, once opened, should never be closed.